3-1 Japan. It's not looking good for the bet.
No, not at all.
Not looking good for the bet.
What inning?
I'm 6.
Let's go USA. Come on, we got this. Welcome back, Tiger Hawk sports fans, to another Tiger Hawk Sports podcast. I'm Noah Weiss.
I'm Chris Galliazzi.
Chris, there has been so much that's gone on recently about this free agency. I know briefly we touched on it last week. I got to talk about my G-Man a little bit. It's not. We didn't have the segment last time to talk about the G-Man or the Cowboys. We got to bring them up tonight.
It's a lot to talk about.
It definitely is. But I want to briefly talk about the G-Man because, to be honest, not much to talk about. I mean, yeah, there's a Dan Jones contract that I wanted to be pleased about. I mean, they re-signed Barkley, which is good. They got a lot of the wide receiver threes on their team. I guess it helps them a little bit.
For sure.
The one thing I do love, them going after Dan Waller, I think it really helps them out a lot. Upgrade their offensive weapon if he stays healthy. Obviously, the 2 years he was healthy, he was the top 2 tight end in the league. But I just think the offseason is so mediocre. And they could have so much better with that money they had. I think they slightly overpaid Bobby O'Curry, but don't think they really did. I think that was an average for a linebacker who has been a top linebacker in the league. But just offensive line help, don't have much. Got rid of, let 2 guys walk. Police Allen to the beast last year. Nick Gates came back and played very well. With very versatile on the line. It looks like they're not doing enough to make themselves stand out in that division. Obviously, which is so tough for now, especially with what the Cowboys have done. I mean, the Eagles won the Super Bowl last year, competing to the last second with the Chiefs. I mean, you got to do fucking more. Holy fuck, man! I'm so pissed. Dude, it's just, the more I talk about it, the more I just like, what the fuck's going on?
Dude, you got Darren Waller. You have one of the best turf fields in the NFL. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Left Stadium, one of the best turf fields. Now you got one of the guys that can't. One of the best hamstring in the league.
Yeah,
Proved it last year.
It's just like,
what they trade him for again?
There is Tony, baby. Potentially. They're not pick. But they're not picking the Chiefs. They're essentially Kadarius Tony.
You know, the Cowboys got Brandon Cooks for a 5th round pick, right? Which was a compensatory pick.
I completely agree. I mean, Cowboys definitely, like I said, I've been off season.
But anyway, back to, let me give my input on the G-Men. Your offensive line was dog shit last year. And guess what you did? Absolutely nothing about it.
I wouldn't say it was dog shit.
It was dog shit. Daniel Jones had an unbelievable year. And you know what held him back? The offensive line. You know why they didn't beat the Cowboys last year? Because we went to that Monday Night Football game and Daniel Jones is on his back more than standing upright.
No, there were some bad games, but compared to what the past line has been, yeah, it's been awful.
Okay.
But they haven't done much to upgrade that at all.
Giants don't have any cap space. You're going to pay Daniel Jones all this money for what? After 1 year? After 1 year?
It's fucking
1 year of not even 15 touchdowns? What is that?
It's fucking baffling to me. Getting paid that amount of money, it's honestly just fucking. It blew
my mind. Everybody wants to say this Cowboys cycle that happens. Giants are falling into a little bit of a cycle too. You know what it is? Here it is. Ready? Here we go.
Oh, yeah,
Cowboys.
You know it pretty well. I want to hear this.
I want to hear this Cowboy cycle. Oh, we start off in the off season. We get our hopes up. Jerry does nothing. We get to the draft. He drafts very well. We go into the regular season. We're a good team. Come to the divisional round. We're bounced, right?
I agree.
How about the Giants cycle? How about you go into the off season? There's really no expectation. You don't know if you're gonna be good. You're gonna be bad team. Then you know what? You make a couple of splashes, a couple of small splashes here and there. You sign Bobby O'Keefe. You sign Kenny Galladay. You trade for Darren Waller. You trade for Adoree Jackson.
Kenny Galladay, what a joke.
Who else? Who else am I missing? You made a couple big. You get what's his name a couple years ago that you overpaid. Nate Solder. You get Blake Martinez. You get all these guys, and you're like, you know what? This GM's him. He's him. He's the guy that's going to bring us back to the Super Bowl. So then you're like, oh, I love our GM.
That's different. I never thought that really, but okay.
You're like, oh, we love our new GM. You get a new head coach. You're like, this guy's going to make us run through a brick wall. This guy's an animal. We have Saquon Barkley. He was a stud at Penn State, and that's the cycle. Then you get to the regular season. You win a couple games early, and then it's like, all right, there's a span where the Giants suck. Then you end off the season with 2 or 3 wins. and you're either in the playoffs or right outside it, and you're like, all right, maybe next year. At
It's
least we
just
got a,
funny that you're
at
like
least we got
comparing
a higher
the
draft.
Giants to the Cowboys.
At least we got a higher draft pick than the Cowboys.
But
and Eagles.
I mean, but at least
So,
at least the Giants
we're gonna do
actually
better. And then
won
you know
two
what?
Super Bowls
You,
compared to
you
the
have
Cowboys.
seven
Right?
draft
So
picks. You have 7 draft picks, and you hit on maybe one, and then you repeat the cycle.
I agree with that.
Wait,
Last
you have a
year
mediocre-
we hit a lot of
wait,
draft picks. So
Then you have a mediocre team because you have no cap space because you probably overpaid fat defensive linemen like Linval Joseph or Leonard Williams or Dexter Lawrence or someone, and then 2 or 3 years
dude,
later,
oh my
2 or
god.
3 years later, you hire another head coach and you hire another GM. 5 years after that, and you're right back in the same cycle. And you know what? You have Daniel Jones, who's literally Eli Manning all over again, except this time.
I don't
Except this
disagree.
time, you don't have David Tyree to make that helmet catch, and you're not playing Tom Brady in a perfect season.
Dude, I everything you said with Daniel, I completely agree with you. I mean, it's just funny that you kind of related the Cowboys to Giants a little bit.
Why wouldn't I?
But I just
It's 2 NFC East teams.
I just I don't know. I don't have words. Like that's coming out right now. There's no words to explain to me right now why I think Daniel Jones should
So what
take
do you
that
think of the
money.
Giants offseason moves?
I mean,
Let's look them.
I definitely don't mind them. I think he's made solid moves to help the team, but I don't think he made the right moves with the right cap to make the team true playoff contender. I mean, the NFC is definitely easier. The NFC is definitely easier than it ever will be right now with no Brady, with no Rodgers. It definitely opens up the NFC to be an easier game for the play, but it just doesn't make sense on the moves they were making to upgrade their entire team. There's still holes in their team. I mean, I do like their young guy, Cordell Flott. I think he had to prove. I do like Holmes. I think Holmes is not bad. I think he still had to prove himself a little bit more. I mean, letting a guy like Julian Love walk definitely hurts. He had a very underrated year last year. Who McKinney had a very good year last year. Hopefully, didn't have another fucking
All right, so
bicycle accident or whatever.
let's go over some of your signings. Daniel Jones. I mean, I think that's something is iffy. He's got to prove himself.
I mean, I definitely like the signing of Daniel Jones, but the contract with Daniel Jones, I do not like.
Saquon Barkley, it's whatever. I mean,
Yet again,
special talent.
yeah, I do like Barkley, but yet again, like the 1 year, $10 million, like running backs right now are so expensive.
Isaiah Hodgins, I like.
Definitely love that signing. Made one of my favorites.
Matt Breida doesn't make any sense.
I mean, just the backup running back, he was there last year, so I'm not opposed to it. Wasn't that big of a deal. I definitely love that signing. I think he's a very good linebacker. I think he proved himself with the Colts. Like I said, the money there, the money there definitely could be a little high, but that's the average. He would have paid one. He was paid around 15.
Raheem Nunez Roches.
Just another guy, no tackles, so defensive tackles.
I like it.
Not
Jihad Ward. Don't like it.
Just well, the reason they re-signed Jihad Ward, he had a great year last year, Chris.
Jeff Smith. Hate it.
It's
Harris Campbell. I like it.
Yeah, up another.
Darren Waller.
Definitely like it.
I like it. What I don't like, you had your problems at linebacker. You got Bobby O'Keefe, but that's it. One linebacker's not going to cut. You had your problems with wide receiver, and you signed 4 wide receiver threes.
I said in the beginning.
Wan'Dale Robinson, Sterling Shepard, Isaiah Hodgins, Paris Campbell,
Darius Slayton.
No,
I mean it's
wouldn't even be the wide receiver 2 on any team.
I just think they're just giving weapon. Maybe they're going to draft one. Maybe there's
Darren Waller's
talking to trade. I mean,
clearly
yes.
your number one guy, unless you trade or sign someone or draft somebody, which I do see them doing.
I do, but I also think they can go
But you
into
also
a
have no
linebacker, cornerback.
You also have no money, so that means you're drafting all
So
spots.
there's some wiggle room around it. But yeah, I agree. I definitely think it's a mediocre year. It could have done so much
There's no
more.
wiggle room. Giants have no wiggle room. Who are they wiggling? They just signed Daniel Jones. They don't have Saquon Barkley to a long-term contract. They don't have Dexter Lawrence to a long-term contract yet.
You can adapt.
who?
You can definitely adjust the
Who
cap
you wiggling?
situations. How they move the salary cap around. They give someone more bonuses. They really wanted to go sign someone. Definitely, I think there's availability there. I'm not saying we're not going to get anyone paid. You're not going to get DeAndre Hopkins, but like I don't know, maybe a guy on a 1 year deal, like a prove type of year. Someone that wants to come in and just play. I don't know. Trying to think of God off the top of my head. I can't really right now, but
You know who I
I'm
would
assuming those guys.
You know who I would have done? You know what I would have done if I'm the Giants?
I'm sure. No, I think I'm gonna agree with what you're saying, but
I like the re-signing of Sterling Shepard.
I
I
definitely
like the
agree.
re-signing of Sterling Shepard. What I don't like is, hold on, let me get the Giants cap space up right now. Let's see who they have under the salary cap. Who's their biggest cap hits?
One part
They needed safeties. That was what they knew they needed. They let Julian Love, who I think had a great year last
They
year.
can play great. And Julian Love didn't even go for that big of a
Interior
contract.
offensive lineman, what you need, regardless of
I
Luke
honestly,
Gates or John Feliciano being your starters, they're great depth. You could have got us another starter and kept them as depth.
I also think that what they're gonna do is there's a guy at Florida, Osiris Torrance. I think they have the eye on him. Think he's
I
gonna
think
be
a
a
lot of people have
playmaker.
their eye.
So
So there's not
yeah.
many interior offensive linemen.
there's not. So I definitely think that's the guy they're
Okay.
hoping to get at the
Giants have
22, I think they had.
$3 million in cap space as it stands right now.
I'm good.
And do you know who's making the most money? Leonard Williams is making $32 million this year. Daniel Jones, who you just signed, $21 million.
I completely agree.
Adoree Jackson, 19, Dexter Lawrence, 12, Andrew Thomas, 10.
The Adoree Jackson one to me is kind of crazy.
Saquon, 10. Mark Lewinsky, 8. Avon, 7. So, like, after cap space is going to Leonard Williams. Why is he still making that much money?
I don't disagree with you. I think they need to find a way to restructure that deal in some way.
You know what I would have done if I'm the Giants? I wouldn't have paid Paris Campbell $5 million this year. I wouldn't have done that. Where else? I wouldn't have paid Darius Slayton another 4. That's $9 million right there. You know what that brings you up to? Probably 12. Maybe you move around Leonard Williams a little bit. Get another $5 million in cap space.
Dude,
that's $17 million right there. You know who you could sign for half that? Odell Beckham Jr., who's openly wanted to come back to play for the New York Giants.
Dude,
and Saquon Barkley.
Dude, I'm not disagreeing with that. I think it's the mediocre offseason.
You take the chance on Darren Waller, and now you probably have to pay Darren Waller all that incentive money later on in the deals.
Actually, no. I don't know if you saw it. It came out that if Darren Waller didn't push so many games, didn't read incentives, and there's an opt out from the Giants to not have him come back next year too. So definitely,
okay, so
definitely not a huge cap hit for the.
Instead, you have to pay your star left tackle Andrew Thomas, who's coming around.
Dude,
who's going to want a lot of money.
I completely agree.
Have you seen the deal that Laramie Tunsil just signed? 3 years, $75 million.
I completely.
$25 million a year.
I completely agree. I told you this is often me.
You know what? You also have to. You also have to sign your star running back Saquon Barkley.
I do not want it. As much as I love Saquon.
Oh wait,
I really don't want them to sign him anyway.
Wait. You also have to get another corner. You also need another linebacker. You also need to sign Dexter Lawrence. How are you managing all that?
It's
And let me tell you, Cowboys are in the same boat. They still have to sign Trayvon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons. And you know what? That's why Zeke's gone. Hate to say it, Zeke. Since I was 14 years old.
Zeke. Dude, as many times I heard Chris say at Ohio State fan, that's my guy. He's gonna be a Cowboy. Oh my God, I want to be a Cowboy. I'm pretty sure he bought a Cowboy jersey on draft night when he got drafted. So he's been riding him for a while, but
Ezekiel is probably.
But I think it's a great transition for us here today to go back to the Cowboys.
There's probably been 2 players in my lifetime, I'm 23, that I've rooted for as hard as Ezekiel Elliott, and it's Dez and Zeke. And Zeke was probably the hardest one.
Yeah, it's just
watching them from Ohio State to Dallas.
2 favorite teams, man.
It was tough, and I don't think the Cowboys are going to miss. I mean, they're going to miss his pass protection, and I do understand what people are saying. Like, obviously, being the highest paid running back, you need to play like it, and he wasn't doing that. So I understand why, but you're telling me that Jerry Jones, with all the moves and all the restructuring he was doing this year, he couldn't find a way to come to some conclusion with Ezekiel Elliott, because I don't think it's necessarily the on-the-field product that they're going to miss in the running game. It's the pass protection. He made Dak a better quarterback. Their rookie year, they came in together. Those first 2 years, that was 100% Zeke.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah,
he took a huge load off of Dak those 2 years.
Yeah, he had a beast year.
Now has he steadily, progressively gotten worse since then?
I mean, sure. I just think we talk about it all the time, Chris. We talk about this running back field in the market. It just when you have a guy that you came out big like Tony Pollard, and then you have Zeke, it's like the committee rule is so strong right now.
But I'm just so confused by it. I'm so confused by it.
Even McCaffrey,
There's no
McCaffrey
quarterback.
was anymore.
There's not many quarterbacks in the NFL besides maybe Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers.
Even Joe Burrow.
That's it. That's it. Joe Burrow, Patty Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers that I'm counting on to carry my team without a running game.
It's just,
And you're telling me that running backs aren't important? Running backs are probably just as important as the quarterback.
if not more, if not more important,
to have a balanced offense, to have a good.
We emphasize all the time. It's even more important, I think.
You think the 49ers are so good because they don't have a running game? They have the best running game in the NFL. That's why they've been sticking around all these years.
And they have 7 different running backs every single year.
Right.
So
Eagles were one of the best rushing teams in the NFL.
they had 3 different running
The
backs this year.
Titans. The Titans. You think Ryan Tannehill brought them to the #1 seed a couple years ago? No. They rode the back of Derrick Henry.
I completely agree.
Cowboys past couple of years have been riding the running game.
I mean, I don't
Giants
think
last year rode the running game, whether it was Daniel Jones or Saquon Barkley.
I completely agree. I also don't think the Cowboys had a major loss. I do think Tony Pollard is still a very good running back.
I mean, I do think Tony Pollard is a good running back, but I disagree.
You think they took a major loss?
I think they took a huge loss.
I mean, the running game, we're just talking about like the pass protection.
Both. There's no running back in the NFL that is more physical than Ezekiel Elliott when it comes to running the football.
I mean, I agree, but at the same time, it's
There's no running back in the NFL who's a better pass protector. You make all the memes you want about that 49ers play when he was center. He was literally a center. You don't put a running back that can't pass protect the fucking center. It's fucking bullshit.
No, I agree.
That's the last play he's gonna have as a Dallas Cowboy.
It's funny though.
It's not funny.
I think it's kind of funny.
I don't find it funny.
When you're a Cowboys fan and you're a Zeke fan, so it makes fucking sense. Relax. Right, so this is a good transition to talk. We talked a lot about the Giants. Obviously, we both agree mediocre offseason. Don't agree with half the shit Joe Sheehan did. So hopefully the Giants can prove me wrong as a Giants fan and Chris wrong as an NC fan. But let's talk a little about the Cowboys.
Before we transition from the Giants, I think they had a mediocre offseason, but I still think they're gonna be good. I still think they're in a playoff team.
I mean, more that NFC is fucking atrocious now.
Yeah, it's gonna be easier, but I still think they're gonna be.
Oh yeah, well obviously
they're gonna be a top 5 team.
I mean, I definitely agree with that. I still think they made the playoffs, but like it is one thing making the playoffs and putting a team together that's gonna contend for more than one playoff win against a horrible Viking defense.
True.
Like there's more to that than you can say. Obviously, we upgraded positions, but do we really upgrade the team? I don't think so. In order to upgrade a team, you have to upgrade the team. They upgraded certain positions. So, but let's talk about free agency as a whole, because I think free agency as a whole definitely.
So who are your biggest winners and who are your biggest losers from free agency?
I mean, I think one of my biggest sneaky winners is the Carolina Panthers. And I know you're gonna. I mean, I'm not gonna say like they completely won the offseason, but I think they made moves that like proved that like. Obviously, we already knew they had a good young defense. They went out and got another young defensive player, Von Bell from the Bengals, making the starting safety. They went out and got Adam Thielen, who obviously on the Vikings before Jefferson got there was the guy. Yeah, he's older now. He's been in the league for a while. Definitely still a valuable piece. Hayden Hurst was a valuable piece for the Bengals and the Ravens. Definitely some more weapons there. So I don't think they really say they had the best offseason, but they had a sneaky good offseason where they can come in with the rookie QB, did get Miles Sanders, who had an amazing year with the Eagles this past year. I mean, just putting these pieces together to have the young rookie QB like AKC Stroud, I think they should take. We'll talk more about that later. Just come in and run that offense with those pieces and obviously that very good defense in a division that like obviously is not going to be as strong as it once was. Definitely think there's a shot that they make the playoffs with the pieces in on the defense specifically they have.
Yeah, I can definitely see the Panthers being a big winner. They put themselves in position to get a quarterback finally. It's what they do around that quarterback that's going to be important for them.
And I think they have made it. So
because I do think they have a good, solid defense with Brian Burns and J.C. Horn, and the receivers are going to come. The running back, as we've seen, isn't valued as much. So, I mean, they did get Miles Sanders. He's pretty good.
What I think they got Miles Sanders on one of the best deals in this offseason, let alone. I mean, the 3-year, $15 million deal?
Yeah.
something like that. Like that's for a guy that was a top 5 running back last
They
year.
hit a home run.
So
if they don't hit a home run on the quarterback, it's all for nothing.
I completely agree. I mean,
but I do like you putting guys around your
Yeah.
quarterback to start, like Miles Sanders, Adam Thielen,
Hayden
potentially
Hurst.
going out, Hayden Hurst,
Yeah.
potentially going out and getting a veteran receiver, having veterans around that quarterback to make him comfortable, and then take him to the next level after that. In a couple of years,
I still think Frank Wright's a good head coach.
I do.
So,
and I do think, like you said, that the NFC is wide open, and that's why I think one of the biggest winners is pretty obvious in the NFC, and that's the Chicago Bears.
I completely agree.
I think the Chicago Bears, not only the big moves that they made, like DJ Moore and making that trade, and
I agree.
Tremaine Edmonds or TJ Edward, I think it's the little signings, bolstering the offensive line little by little. They signed Donta Foreman, who I think is a good physical running back.
Then Kelly Herbert. I also like the fact that they're. To be honest, do I think they are a playoff team this year? I mean, I think they compete, but I wouldn't call them a true playoff team this year. I think they're building for what is next. They're building for next year, and next year could be their year. I think next year is the year that they are a playoff team because they have 2 first-round picks next year.
I think they're a playoff team.
So, I think that they can sneak in, but I'm not going to hold my breath and say I'm banking on the Bears to be a true playoff team this year. In that NFC, NFC is weaker, but I still think that the Bears next year have a better shot of going in as playoff favorites than they do this year.
This secondary, listen to the secondary, pretty good secondary. Kyler Gordon, Eddie Jackson, Jaquan Brisker, Jaden Johnson.
No, I love their secondary.
It's a pretty solid secondary.
I definitely think I love Brisker.
Now they have a linebacking core of TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds.
2 great linebackers, love that.
Probably one of the best duos.
Completely agree.
They need to upgrade that defensive line. That defensive line is atrocious, I will say.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. There are a few pieces away. They have 2 first-round draft picks next year.
Their offensive line isn't terrible. Their weapons aren't terrible now. No. They are building for next year, and that's what I think the Bears have done and they're still at $50 million in cap space right now.
I think that's unbelievable because I think next year they're going to go out and make a big move. I think next year they're going to make a major splash, whether it's offensive line, whether it's a running back, whether it's. And we'll also figure out one guy. I don't know, talking about the offense, who I think this year have a breakout year. Started off late bloomer, as we say. It's Cole Kmet.
Don't forget they signed Robert Tonyan.
Cole Kmet.
They signed Robert Tonyan.
They did, but I just think Cole Kmet's going to be. I mean, a lot of teams have 2 tight ends. So, I mean, you think in general, a lot of teams have 2 tight ends.
True.
So I think Cole Kmet's going to be the guy. See, I mean, maybe the Patriots, to be honest. I don't think they made many moves to bolster their team up.
They're about to get DeAndre Hopkins.
I mean, right now they're losers, so I mean they get down what they want. But at the moment of this podcast, I don't think they haven't made any moves. Yeah, I mean they stay steady. They haven't lost many pieces. Obviously, they lost a big piece of their secondary, Dan McCourty, who retired, who forever, all you baby, go Rutgers. But just it doesn't make sense to put Belichick in. Even 2 years ago, they didn't make it splash. Like ever since Brady left, they've kind of been stagnant. They've been like, we're just gonna sign these guys and see what's going on.
They're never gonna win anything. You're never beating Mahomes. You're never beating.
I completely agree.
The Broncos. You're not beating anybody in your division. But that also leads me into I have 2 losers that are equally losers, and that's the New York Jets and the Green Bay Packers.
I knew you were gonna say that.
The New York Jets and the Green Bay Packers.
No, see,
they are both equally losers right now.
Before we get into that, before we get to that question, when is the trip actually happening? Obviously, Rodgers came in and said
draft day.
You think it happens draft day? You think it happens after?
On draft day?
I think it's after draft day.
I think it's on draft day. How can it not be?
I think it's after draft day.
How is it after draft day? Then you're telling me the Packers are wait until next year to get something for Rodgers? He's gonna be 40 years old. He might be retired by then.
I think they're gonna. It's gonna happen on draft day.
It's gonna happen on draft day or before draft day. And if it doesn't happen, it has to happen right before draft day. If it doesn't happen by draft day, the New York Jets are gonna make another move. I think it's coming in the next. I give them 2 weeks. 2 weeks before draft day is when we're gonna know what's gonna happen with Aaron Rodgers.
What's the move? You think they pivot to Lamar?
If they don't get Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah.
This is why I said last time, why go after Rodgers?
Right.
What happens if you don't get him? This is my point from last time. You don't get Aaron Rodgers, what's your plan B? You know what my plan B would be if I'm fucking Joe Douglas? I'm giving my 2 first-round picks for CJ Stroud. I'm calling the Texans and I'm like, hey, you have 12, I'll give you 12, you will have 12, 13, I'll give you my first-round pick next year. Then maybe the Texans can package those 2 up and trade back up to the Cardinals. A lot of trades can happen. Who knows?
Oh, I
That's
do a
what
lot
I
of
do if I'm
trades.
Joe Douglas. If I'm not getting Aaron Rodgers and you're so hell bent on making Aaron Rodgers your Super Bowl winning quarterback, even though you're never going to win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers,
Another loser.
plan B is going to get a young quarterback.
I agree. My other loser based on the Jets too is
Because
why would you go out and get players that I mean Rodgers came out and he really never said he had a wish list, but why would the Jets go out and get Allen Lazard? Why would they do that to not bring Aaron Rodgers in? So my thing is, why did you want to bring in the people with the Packers who obviously hasn't won with him just to bring him over? Yeah, Lazard's a good receiver, but is he really going to help the team win? I don't see it.
if you're the Jets, you also have to realize you drafted Zach Wilson at 3 or 2. And
I just
that's you're gonna have to bite the bullet with that.
No, I agree. No, that hurts.
So then you go out and you're like, hey, we want Aaron Rodgers. Didn't get him. You got to bite the bullet with that. Then you go out and you're like, hey, now what do we do? Oh, what are we gonna sign Ryan Tannehill? We're gonna sign Ryan Tannehill. Bite the bullet with that. So the Jets are in a really tough spot if they don't get Aaron Rodgers, and
I agree.
That's why I also think the Packers are losers. You have your franchise quarterback, probably the best player in your entire franchise ever, go out and say that they blindsided you. You don't want him anymore. He literally made you the Green Bay Packers. I mean, along with Brett Favre.
Yeah, I know.
But he made you the Green Bay Packers you are today. And they're going to go behind his back because of Jordan Love.
I mean, he made the Green Bay
How
Packers.
about this? Don't draft Jordan Love and just draft the receiver when you were supposed to.
Yeah. I mean, he made the Green Bay Packers for ours, at least. I mean, ours growing up, he's been the QB. I haven't seen another QB. But talking in that division, talking about the Bears, I mean, another winner that I want to briefly touch on before we wrap this up and end in some regards with some stuff. Detroit Lions, I mean, they definitely been winners in my book a little bit. I do think they made one weird signing. Still don't really get it. I mean, you have top 5 when healthy running back. It doesn't make sense. Your boy, obviously, it just doesn't make fucking sense to me. Jamal Williams took his shit away last year. Dave Montgomery definitely is a good running back, but to go to the Lions team when you have a top 5 running back in Johnny Swift doesn't make much sense. But getting Sidney Johnson, getting Cameron Sutton, bolstering that defense up. You already have a good offensive line. You have a good defensive line with Aiden Hutchinson leading your way. I mean, you have a good linebacker core with Alex Anzalone. I'm going to butcher his name right there, but Anzalone, decent linebacker. Still can draft linebacker in the draft. Something you have good receivers. I mean, your tight end is not there, but you have Brock Wright, who could be something you don't know. Maybe they draft a tight end. I think they had a very sneaky, low key off season, and I think they are the favorites in my mind.
The picks this year.
I think they're the favorites in my mind right now for that division. The Packers gone.
No shot.
Who'd win the division then?
Did the Vikings lose anybody that I know of?
I just don't think the Vikings
were the 2 seed last year. Did they go anywhere?
Yeah, but the Lions also came on late.
Jefferson.
The Lions already came on late.
Cook's still there. Kirk Cousins still the quarterback.
The Lions also came on late.
I mean, maybe the defense losing Eric Hendricks.
But the Lions also came on late though, and I think they ride the momentum in. I think they get people of the division. They could be more of a division this year with Aaron Rodgers out of the
If I were to bet on a team to win the division, either the Vikings or the Bears.
I would say Lions and Vikings.
I'd say Vikings and Bears. I'm going bold, and I'm going to say the Bears, but let me touch on the Lions real quick. I look what they did on defense in the secondary. Like you said, they had one of the worst secondaries last year. Their linebackers are good. Their defensive line's all right.
Not great, but yeah, you have one of the
They're
best.
gonna go out and
best
get
rookies.
somebody. They're gonna go out and get somebody on defensive line for sure in the draft with one of those two picks. And this is a heavy tight end class, so who knows? They can get tight end there too. My problem with the Lions is like you were touching on briefly before, is with the running backs.
Yeah.
Why?
This is a very, very
Why?
touchy subject for my boy here.
Why do you draft DeAndre Swift? Why do you play him? And he goes off every time. Why do you make us think that he's going to be
Big
good?
play magic.
Dude,
Big
he's
play magic.
unbelievable.
Dude,
Every time he touches the ball, something ridiculous happens. Yet the
who do you like more? Who do you like more? Zeke or DeAndre Swift?
Zeke.
Okay.
But DeAndre Swift is my guy. Everybody has their fantasy guy. DeAndre Swift is my guy.
You know who my guy is?
Who?
You know who my guy is?
CeeDee Lamb?
Yeah, Dan White's my guy.
Okay, this is not on your team.
Neither is Swift on your team, so.
I don't need DeAndre Swift to be on my team. I don't root for the Lions as much. I don't have to watch the Lions twice a year.
His fantasy is different, though. You might your guy.
I'm just
All
saying.
right, but just
Anyway,
I agree.
you have DeAndre Swift, and you're going to pay Dave Montgomery $8 million a year for what? To get the goal? Why not give me the 6 points with DeAndre Swift? Why do you have to give Dave Montgomery the 1 yard touchdown runs at 6 points? And you know what? They're probably going to draft Deuce Vaughn too. And he's going to get a couple goal line touches and a couple catches. And DeAndre Swift's going to have 7 carries for like 150 yards.
And sit out with the left toe muscle. You never know. I mean, the guy sits out every other game.
I'm still going to draft him.
First overall?
Not first overall.
What first round, I mean?
No.
Second round?
My first round pick's going to be Jamar Chase.
Second round?
No, my second round pick's going to be Bijan Robinson.
Oh, okay. What if he's not a Cowboy? So Bijan Robinson?
He's going to be a Cowboy.
Okay. Well, leading into that, draft week, dude. 4 weeks away? 3 weeks away, Rich?
Yeah, that's a whole separate podcast.
Definitely, for sure. I mean, we're going to drop another podcast this week. Yeah, we are. Have to. Got to get some more out there. Definitely a lot of shit that happened, the free agency and everything. Biggest steal in the NFL draft this year. Who is it? Offense or defense? Offensive line, defensive line, anything you got.
Mohammed Ibrahim. You don't even know who that is.
I've heard the name, but you didn't impress me. Let me some more.
Running back from Minnesota. Pretty sure he got hurt last year.
Oh, I did know. I mean, I mean, how do I not know? He against Rutgers.
He's going to either go undrafted or be one of those guys that go 6th, 7th round, a Raheem Mostert type player. It's going to be like, holy shit, why didn't our team get him?
Well, I think that one guy, obviously, it's not a guy like you who's undrafted. It's a guy that I definitely think wasn't your top few tight end going in. Definitely was like the 3 or 4 type person. Definitely is 4 now, I think so. Who I think can go in the first round over a player like Michael Mayer, Donnie and Cade. I'm with Donnie Washington. I've seen his pro day. I loved him.
Why? He's big.
He's big, can pass, can be a good pass blocker. I think his pro day definitely proven he has those hands and go up and get those balls. Obviously, pro day, you're not going against anyone that's big, but at Georgia, definitely had good years. Had a good QB. Another guy, I just want to see it be successful. I'm not saying it's secret, but it's Stanley Bennett. I mean, let that boy fucking eat, man. Come on, let that boy get one snap.
It's been running from the cops when they run on a football field.
Dude, he has speed though, man. My boy got the speed. Let him run. Let him get that little grind on the field, man.
Yeah. I
gotta see my boy play.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but honestly, with that, covered a lot. Just grind out with us. Season underway is what we know. Where we're going to be talking about week 1.
Yep.
Battling out Giants with Cowboys, whatever that is. Stay tuned. We're going to go to our trip. We got another option coming out soon. So please like which one you want to do and follow us when you're there. But with that, tell you Sports out.